Good Monday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, it's a brand new day. It's a brand new week. It means it's a brand new opportunity. You do something amazing, and it all begins today. Because you have your news headlines coming up on this Monday. Have a message from my book, Warrior That Choose to Live By. And in today's news you can use. You hear part of my conversation with Dr. Bruce Strober and patient Brandon A. They discuss a rare skin disease called GPP, what it is, and what you need to know about it. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Monday headlines. In Mississippi news, 16 WAPT shares information about the timing for partial solar eclipse in Jackson, Mississippi. The partial eclipse will be visible in Jackson, Mississippi starting around 12:33 p.m. Central Time today and will reach its maximum at around 1:52 p.m. It is expected to end around 3:11 p.m. A total solar eclipse will take place today and will be visible along a narrow track stretching from Texas to Maine. While Jackson will not be in the path of totality, we will still get to experience a partial eclipse, says 16 WAPT. The percentage of the sun covered during the partial eclipse will be around 89%. The partial eclipse will be visible in Jackson starting around 12:33 p.m. It will reach maximum at around 1:52 p.m. During the peak, the moon will cover a portion of the sun, creating a stunning sight. Just remember to never look directly at the sun without proper eye protection, like eclipse glasses. Today is expected to be mainly cloudy with a few showers and warm temperatures. However, a few breaks in the clouds are possible. The next total solar eclipse that can be seen in the United States won't be until 2045. In national news, Mike Johnson prepares to unwrap mystery Ukraine aid package, says the Wall Street Journal. Anger over Israel's actions in Gaza could complicate House Speaker's decisions about foreign aid bill, they said. Embattled House Speaker Mike Johnson has pledged to bring up Ukraine aid for a vote in the House soon after Congress returns from Easter recess in coming days. But what the bill will look like and who will support it remains unsettled due to fractures among Republicans and Democrats over both aid for Kyiv and related assistance for Israel. The Senate passed a $95 billion package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan in February with bipartisan support. Johnson has resisted calls from defense hawks of both parties to simply bring the Senate bill up for a vote in the House, saying his chamber will move forward with its own bill. In more national news, Democrats lean into border security as it shapes contest for control of Congress. With immigration shaping the elections who will decide control of Congress, Democrats are trying to outflank Republicans and convince voters they can address problems at the U.S. border with Mexico, embracing an issue that has traditionally been used against them. The shift in strategy, especially from Democrats running in battleground states, comes as the Biden administration has struggled to manage an unprecedented influx of migrants at the southwest border. Donald Trump, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee, has led his party in vilifying immigrants as poisoning the blood of the country and called for mass deportations of migrants. And as the GOP looks to flip control of the Senate, they are tying Democrats to President Joe Biden's handling of immigration. The tactic has already figured large in elections like Arizona's state race, a seat Democrats almost certainly need to win to save their majority. Carrie Lake has repeatedly linked the representative, the likely Democratic nominee, to Biden, telling the crowd at a March event that there's really not a difference between the two. Democrats are no longer shrugging off such attacks. They believe they can tout their own proposals for fixing the border, especially after Trump and Republican lawmakers rejected a bipartisan proposal on border security earlier this year. In business news, Wall Street gains ground following surprisingly strong U.S. jobs report, says the Associated Press. Stocks ended solidly higher and bond yields rose on Friday as Wall Street welcomed a surprisingly strong U.S. jobs report. The S&P 500 rose 1.1%, making up most of the loss from the previous day and moving closer to its record high set last week. The benchmark index still posted its first weekly loss in 3 weeks. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.8%. The Nasdaq Composite gained 1.2%. Technology companies accounted for a big share of the rally. The gains were abroad, with every sector in the S&P 500 finishing in the green. U.S. employers added a surprisingly strong 303,000 workers to their payrolls in March, according to a government report released on Friday. The strong job market helped fuel consumer spending and earnings growth for businesses, amounting to strong economic growth overall. And finally, in entertainment news, Godzilla x Kong maintains box office dominion in second weekend. Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire easily swatted away a pair of challengers to hold on to the top spot at the box office for the second week in a row, according to studio estimates on Sunday. That made the top 5 movies over the weekend. Number 1, Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire with $32 million. Number 2, Monkey Man with $10 million. Number 3, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire with $9 million. Number 4, The First Omen with $8 million. And number 5, Kung Fu Panda 4 with $8 million. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Word That Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Monday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Word That Choose to Live By. Start the week off with this attitude. No matter what you might face or what may try to sidetrack you, there is no one that can derail your path to success but you. Do not become your own worst enemy. Choose to be your best motivator. Have an amazing Monday. We are part of my conversation coming up with Dr. Bruce Strober and patient Brandon A. in today's news you can use. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your news you can use. Dr. Bruce Strober and Brandon A. join me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about the skin disease GPP and what it means. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Thanks to the two of you for the time today. Really do appreciate you stopping by.
You're welcome. Thank you. Really great to be here.
Look, the pleasure is definitely all mine. Dr. Strober, I want to begin with you. As I mentioned, today we're talking about GPP. For our audience out there that may just be finding out about it, what exactly is it? And talk to us about how it's diagnosed.
GPP stands for Generalized Pustular Psoriasis, but it's different from run-of-the-mill plaque psoriasis that we more commonly experience in our society. GPP is rare. It's a chronic skin inflammation that comes and goes. It's sparked by flares, and the flares are described as red rashes on large portions of the body, widespread. And in those rashes are pus pimples, pustules. People with GPP and undergoing a flare often feel a lot of skin pain, tenderness, soreness, and they experience fever, chills. They have arthritis sometimes. They may need to be hospitalized. That's the key here, because untreated, a GPP flare may result in mortality. And that's why it's important to diagnose it and appropriately bring effective therapy to bear on it.
Dr. Strober, you brought up a really good point. I know for our audience, we've had individuals talk about plaque psoriasis on this broadcast, and I appreciate you showing that it is different than that. So is it? You also mentioned, though, that GPP is rare. Is it also why it's often misdiagnosed?
Exactly. It's misdiagnosed because most doctors never will see a case, and even dermatologists who are trained on GPP might see at most one case every year. So a person who walks into the office with signs and symptoms of GPP might not immediately be diagnosed. There might have to be tests run, like blood tests, and in particular, a skin biopsy, where a piece of skin is taken and looked under the microscope to really nail down the diagnosis.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'll be back to go on tomorrow's more news, message from my book, Word That Choose to Live By, and of course, entertainment spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.